Fern City? Oh, it's just an eco-friendly online shop. Debutify? Oh, it's just like a Shopify theme. A theme's just like a website builder, really, you know. It's got great UX and an inbuilt marketing funnel to help people make a purchase. When I discovered dropshipping, my first thought was, this whole thing's a scam. And my opinion on that has developed. And the fulfillment method of dropshipping can work, but my gut feeling, I don't think, was incorrect. The promise of getting rich quick is always a scam, or almost always. Sending unmarked products from China to people in USA or Europe and hoping to become a millionaire is just insane. Why would a customer pick this unknown, unmarked product over this tried and tested, branded one? Well, you just wouldn't. If we look at brands that have exponentially more sales, they're more trustworthy, they last longer than dropshipping, and they can charge more for their products or services because a brand is more of a mission. It has more of a purpose, so people are far more likely to get behind it. So, question is, do you want to learn how to make one? Branding isn't a logo. A brand isn't the product. The brand is not even a promise, as some people say. It only acts like a promise. A brand isn't an impression. Each person has a different view of your brand to create a perception of that brand. So this comes from Marty Neumeier, graphic designer and copywriter in the 1970s. In 1984, when the Macintosh launched, he moved to Silicon Valley to help companies like Apple, HP, Netscape, Adobe, and Google create their brands. Pretty massive. Okay, so a brand is what happens in people's heads. A brand is a customer's gut feeling about a product, service, or a company. If your brand embodies the same belief system that you have, then you kind of feel inclined to buy their product. So as a brand owner, you want to hone in on that lifestyle and encourage people to join it. So let's get an overview of brands. They're a strategic and a financial asset. A strong brand creates customer loyalty, increases the value of your company, if you would want to sell it, and also increases the value of your products. Brands can set higher prices for their products and services purely because of that trust. And people always associate higher quality to branded products. Now, if the brand isn't a promise, it's still a commitment of some kind. The customer expects you to be consistent, so you as a brand owner need to understand the core values of your company. Think of the values as the skeleton of the brand. How does the brand link to your overall business? These values need to be expressed consistently day in and day out. When brand building, you need to ask yourself a few different questions. Where do you sit in the market? What are your competitors' values? Who are you trying to reach? Big important one there. What's the belief system under your brand? Where, who, and what does your brand want to be in the future? In the context of this video, does your marketing reflect your business values? Bloody hope so. To make this easy for you, there's a couple of things that you can do. First off, write yourself a logline, like an elevator pitch. You don't have to share this, but being able to summarize your brand to yourself will help you understand your values. Now, an elevator pitch is just a 30-second summary of what your brand is and does. Secondly, you can make a list of things that are important to your target audience. Turn this list into attributes of the brand itself, or a benefit that the brand delivers. Have a large list of these, then group them into categories: emotions, features, economic benefits, and then how a product makes people appear to others or the environment. Ask yourself what the product really does for customers. Then you can come up with your logline. Now, the logline is also called a brand driver. This is the idea that you express. This is the idea, what your brand really is. And thirdly, the most important thing to do with branding is to make these brand drivers. January Creative describes these brand drivers as a set of adjectives that describe your organization and are used as a way to influence your branding in the marketplace. Remember that you can't really give people the brand. They kind of make an impression and a perception of it themselves. You can only kind of steer the brand and attempt to change how people perceive it. So let's expand on this. Don't just slap a logo on your product and think that you're done. What you want to do is create a brand, a big, beautiful brand. What's the brand's core promise and list of associations?
Doritos, not Doritos. Snickers, no. Snipers, legs.
So when brand building, you can either have a branded house or a house of brands. So Google is a branded house. They own Gmail, Maps, YouTube, and a few others. And P&G is a house of brands. They own Duracell, Pringles, and a bunch of others. Now, whichever route you choose, when you market, you create a central value proposition. Branding is closely related to this, and the brand is a long-term strategic position. So, if we take a look at my supplier for Fern City, Lily Bee Wrap, on their homepage they say, "We believe in the good of people, we believe in the collective consciousness and how each choice we make as individuals affects the whole. We also believe in ease and beauty. There's power in that. Just like there is power in love." You can see their brand drivers in action here. They're sustainable, ethical, and they're community-based. We all want a community, really. So why don't you do me a solid, subscribe to the channel. I know you want to. You're just itching to hit that subscribe button. It's big, it's red, it's beautiful. Maybe. That would be great. Anyway. So get your notepad out and jot down any adjectives that could be used to describe your business, products, or services. Okay, and while you've got that notepad out, let's come up with a name. So you've defined the values, driver, and persona. Now you need to figure out how to express the brand. The name should reflect these values and the purpose, and create an association with the brand's persona. It needs to be unique, and it needs to be memorable. Ask yourself, what are you naming? Technology, product, service? Remember what your brand architecture is. Is it a house of brands? Is it a branded house? And also remember, try not to confuse people. Sometimes just connecting your name to the product is good enough. Apple Watch, for example. It's usually far more expensive to use a name that is completely new as well, like Sony. You have to pay to communicate the name, but it can be effective in the long term because Sony is unique. Now, don't waste money on advertising your acronym. Thousands of companies pay millions of dollars to help people remember their acronyms. Do you have any idea who these people are? CBI, CF, CNA, CPT, CEX, DHL, MFC. I mean, DHL is Dowsley Hillbloom Logistics, so DHL is a little bit better. Now my supplier, Lily Bee Wrap, for example, they've included the main product in the name, Lily Bee Wrap. And straight at the top of their website, you see this, New Zealand made Lily Bee Wrap. So according to Jonathan Bell, the founder of Want Branding, there's over 300 million brands. Jonathan's company has some pretty big clients, by the way, Google, Gillette, Samsung, and Apple. And in his TED Talk, he outlined the 7 different categories of names. First, you have epinonymous names like Disney and Tesla. They embody the vision through the names of the founders. Next up, descriptive names, American Airlines, Home Depot. Then you've got acronymic, DHL, KFC, BP. Suggestive, Uber, Slack. Composite, Facebook, Ray-Ban. Invented, Kleenex, Pinterest. Associative, Amazon, Red Bull, power, confidence. And then non-English, like Hulu, a bowl used to store precious things. And abstract, Rolex, Kodak. They have no intrinsic meaning, but they have power through phonetics to convey the powerful brand. Now we can get to the fun stuff, the logo. Now in terms of teaching, I have to say, keep it simple, but maybe you could also stay away from the ultra simple minimalist style that's been cropping up if you wanted to stand out a little.
No, don't turn me into an oversimplified logo. Is it over? Am I done? Honestly, that wasn't so bad.
So I asked our CEO, Raphael, what makes a great logo? And he said they have to work at tiny sizes and when they're huge. He also said a great key is to just use 2 colors. So let's go through the different types of logos. You've got the word mark, Coca-Cola, Google. Pictorial, it acts as the name of the company through an image, like the Apple logo. Then you've got the logo system, which is an interchangeable style of the same idea. So with all logos, they have to have a long life to actually be created. They don't just happen straight away. So get in touch with a graphic designer. Be sure to make different size of logos for different kinds of things, like side of a building or just on your product. Make a color palette and a black and white version. All right, wicked. Now let's have a look at that funnel. So the funnel is how a customer moves from the marketing to the landing page to purchase. This is also called the customer experience. So to make this easy for your customers, you need to do something further. You need to define your touch points. Touch points are an event where you reinforce the brand promise and the brand drivers. Make your touch points broad for the typical customer. There are a few phases in this funnel from the brand perspective, so let's just go through them. Firstly, you've got the need recognition phase. Recognition is where the customer realizes that they want something. Then you've got information search, where they gather information from other brands in your niche and evaluate the alternatives. They make choices on the most important feature and which brand delivers those features best according to them. Remember the perception, it's all about perception. Then you got purchase, add to cart, enter your credit card details here, subscribe to Debutify. Then you got your post-purchase phase. Once customers use it, they compare the results with the expectations. How did this product make them feel? Did it actually live up to those expectations? Is it a piece of crap? They're going to share this experience with other people. So we have to decide where these touch points happen. The touch points, of course, must be related to those brand drivers. For example, a display ad that says, Fern City, keeping the home plastic free. Make a shopping experience that reinforces this. So to make a shopping experience that reflects that, you could have a really nice green photograph showing the sustainability, showing a clean, beautiful kitchen laid out with no plastic. An ideal situation. Most people aren't going to be doing it, but it's what you're aspiring to be. Connecting to the customer, making sure that they understand what you want them to feel. A more relatable example of this is just lifestyle photography for clothing brands. People look super cool and the customer looks at them and goes, damn, I want to feel and look that cool. So there's probably a lot more to learn about branding. If you want to stick around and subscribe, I would be very grateful. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching.